All right, so today we're diving into something special. We're not just going to recap a Mr. Beast video. Nope, we're going to deconstruct it. We're going to break down how a simple game like hide and seek got turned into this absolutely epic, high-stakes piece of entertainment. Let's figure out what made this $50,000 challenge tick. And really, it all kicks off with this number right here, $50,000. I mean, just let that sink in. This isn't the hide and seek you played as a kid in your backyard, right? This is a life-changing amount of money. And that one simple fact, well, it completely changes the game from the get-go. And the premise couldn't be simpler. It's stated right there in the video, plain as day. The last one found gets the $50,000 in cash. That's it. It's winner take all, and that immediately tells you everything you need to know. There's no prize for second place here, which just cranks up the tension. So, how exactly do you pull off a game of hide and seek with this much money on the line? Well, it really boils down to two huge factors, the setup and the sheer scale of the whole thing. Okay, so the rules themselves are super straightforward. And that's honestly part of the brilliance. You've got 10 people who have to hide inside this massive building. They get a 20-minute head start to find their spot. Then the seekers, Jimmy and Chris, come in to hunt them down. And the last person they find, they walk away with all that cash. It's simple, it's clean, and you just know it's going to be full of drama. And then there's the playing field. I mean, look at this. We're not talking about a big house. This is a gigantic building with like hundreds of rooms and literally thousands of potential hiding spots. Can you imagine being a seeker? It's a total nightmare. But for the hiders, oh, it's a paradise. You got theaters, ballrooms, tiny little crevices, so many options. All right, so the game is on, the clock is ticking, and right away, that initial search starts to show you the insane pressure these contestants are under. And man, that feeling of being the first one found, it's just a total gut punch. So who's the first one to get caught? It's Chandler. He tried this whole hiding in plain sight thing, you know? He tucked himself into a corner in the basement, thinking, this is way too obvious, they'll never look here. Yeah, that didn't work. It backfired completely, and they found him almost instantly. And you can just hear that sinking feeling in his own words, right? First the shock, am I the first one? And then the reality hits him. You're the first one out. Oof. To be the very first person out of 10 in a game for 50 grand, that's a tough pill to swallow. And it sends a message to everyone else still hiding. And this next find proves a really important point. Even a super clever hiding spot isn't foolproof. Ty found what he thought was this perfect little hidden crevice, but the seekers were just relentless. They were too thorough. And that sends a clear signal to all the other hiders. Nowhere is truly safe. Okay, so after they get those first few, maybe slightly easier finds out of the way, the game starts to grind to a halt. The hiders who are left, they're in really good spots. And this is where the real genius of the challenge starts to shine through. The game itself is about to change. So you gotta ask yourself, if you're running this game, what do you do? How do you find these expert-level hiders when you've hit a total stalemate? I mean, you can't just have your seekers wander around this giant building for hours, hoping they stumble on someone. The video would get so boring. The answer? It's so simple. It's brilliant. You change the rules. And they do it with a cheat card. It says, you all have to move to a different floor than you currently are on within the next 10 minutes. This is an absolute game changer. It instantly shatters the stalemate. All these hiders who were perfectly safe in their little nests, now they're forced out into the open. It creates total chaos, and that chaos creates opportunity for the seekers. And the effect of that one rule change is immediate. The whole pace of the game just speeds up. People start getting found left and right, and boom, just like that, we're down to the final four. I mean, take a look. In a pretty short span of time, we went from 10 people down to just 4. That means 6 people are out. More than half the contestants are gone. And a lot of that is because they were forced to move. The endgame has officially begun. And they don't stop there. They whip out a second cheat card, forcing everyone to move again. And this is so smart. It actually results in 2 players getting caught together in an elevator. Then a third cheat card comes out, and this one shrinks the entire playing field down to just floors 2 and 3. The walls are quite literally closing in. And if you look at the numbers, you can see just how well this worked. Sure, most players were found in their original hiding spots, but a whole bunch of them, 3 to be exact, were caught while they were on the move, in transit, all because of those rule changes. It's just a brilliant way to force the action when things get slow.
All right, so this brings us to the final act, the winner takes all moment. Let's see how all of this manufactured chaos leads to that final showdown for the whole 50 grand.
So after all that searching, all the close calls, all the cheat cards, we're down to the final two. You've got Jake Weddle and you've got Ben Malone. One of these guys is about to become $50,000 richer, and the other one is going home with nothing. And of course, to make it as dramatic as possible, there's one last rule. Both players have to go to the third floor. So it's not about hiding in this huge, sprawling building anymore. No. Now it's a direct face-off. It all comes down to who gets found first in this much smaller space. The tension is just wow. So the Seekers start sweeping the third floor, checking every single nook and cranny, and then they spot him. Jake Weddle has been found. And if he's been found, well, that can only mean one thing, right? That means the winner of $50,000 is Ben! Yes! After hours of hiding, all those crazy rule changes, and that super tense final showdown, he is the last one left. He did it! And this last quote from Ben, this is really what it's all about. He says, "And now I'm going to be able to actually give my family and everything a good Christmas." See, for him, that 50 grand wasn't just a prize. It was a way to take care of his family. It just brings this whole crazy spectacle right back down to earth, to something really human and relatable. So it leaves you with this final thought, doesn't it? When you look at a game like this, with all the high stakes, the clever hiding spots, the rules changing on the fly, how much of winning actually comes down to strategy? And how much of it is just pure, simple luck? Something to think about.